Morning traders, welcome to another session of Market Snapshot. I hope you guys are geared up for the volatility that will be coming in later in the afternoon. And this is the conversation that we should always have as traders. Just because you're a techie doesn't mean you should stick with technical analysis, right? Always make sure that you're looking at fundamental analysis, sentimental analysis, and now finally technicals, right? So at this point in time, it's advisable that every trader, once they wake up, they should have a look at the economic calendar. They want to see the possible moves, economic news, or geopolitical events that could affect their positions. Remember, this is more of like risk management, right? We've had situations where traders are up $50 in profit, doing so well. Maybe your take profit is around maybe $100. And the next time you're looking at your charts, you're negative $30, right? Because some news that was scheduled, but you didn't know that came out. So always you can go to Forex Factory, my FX book, and here we need to look at what will be coming out at 3:15. Remember, you're looking at the red folders, right? Your focus should be on the red folders because these are high impact news, right? So at 3:15 we'll be having ADP non-farm employment change. Basically, this is a precursor to NFP, right? We know this is NFP week, right? On Friday, so much volatility will be coming in. So what is this basically? It analyzes basically the number of people who have been employed the previous month, excluding the farming industry and government. Basically, it's the private sector, right? These are private sector jobs, right? And so previously it was 62K. Traders are expecting that number to go up to 111,000 jobs, right? Private sector jobs. That could mean the economy is doing so well, right? So if this number comes out higher than this, that will be a very big positive for the dollar. We could see some volatility on the dollar, the strengthening. So any number above 111, 115, 120, 130 would be very good for the dollar. That means GBP USD will be a sell, Euro USD sell, Audi USD sell, gold sell, USD CHF buy, USD JPY buy, USD CAD buy. For USD CAD, we really need to look at it from the angle of BOC later. And then if this number comes out lower than 111K, remember this is what traders and investors are expecting. If it comes out lower than this, what should we expect? We should expect the weakening of the dollar, right? So that gives an opportunity to go long on GBP USD, Euro USD, Audi USD, gold, and go short on USD CHF, USD JPY, USD CAD. So remember, this is purely educational analysis. This is not investment advice. We are just analyzing the market, seeking those opportunities. It's up to you as a trader to make sure that you're following the necessary risk management parameters. Then at 4:45, we'll now have BOC rate statement, interest rate decision. So traders are expecting this to remain at 2.75. If we go through some articles over here on what traders are expecting, we can see this one: Bank of Canada will hold interest rates at 2.75% on Wednesday as policymakers await further news on an economy that grew faster. It grew faster last time. The GDP was 2.2% higher, right? The strong consensus, the strong consensus around the upcoming decision came after data on Friday showed the economy grew quicker than predicted last quarter at 2.2%. So based on that growth, guys are like, okay, we just need to wait, because remember, when an economy grows, inflation goes up. So if you cut rates, right, that exposes that economy to inflation, right? So that's why traders are expecting that BOC will maintain 2.75. But then again, you'll be surprised they could decide to hike it, right? These are the surprise moves that as traders we need to be aware of. Also, it's always important to have risk management. Use your stop loss, right? Position sizing is also important. If you know very well this news could be, there's uncertainty in it. If you use a lot size of 0.10, you might want to reduce that to 0.5. 0.05. I know people tend to do the opposite. When news are out, you've been using a lot size of 0.10, you increase that to 0.30. We all know the consequences in most cases, right? So that could offer some volatility at around 4:45. So be on the lookout. Then, of course, the rate statement. This is basically uh, a statement from the Bank of Canada. Why did they come up with this interest rate, right? They try and outline the decisions around it, the economic conditions. Remember the inflation and the tariffs with the US and all that. So they'll want to discuss that and also give a future market outlook, right? To see what could be the possible. Will we be having rate cuts in July? Maybe. So that is something that we look forward to. Then there is also an article here. Maybe we might want to read it. You see, this is another article saying the Bank of Canada's decision on 4th June is an incredibly close call, right? Unemployment is in danger of breaching 7% in the upcoming jobs report, but despite a low headline inflation print, core CPI has been moving higher again. Once again, the inflation has been going up, right? First quarter GDP growth exceeded expectations at 2.2%. That's what we've just analyzed, right? Annualized versus 1.7 consensus. So guys had expected the GDP to be 1.7, and then it was a shocker, all right? Came out at 2.2%. So these are the shockers that we really need to be wary of as traders. That you need to know at some point in time, it may come out as planned, and at times you could see some shockers, right? But this was primarily driven by front loading ahead of tariffs. So basically, what people did, businesses in Canada, they sold a lot of stuff in the US in expectations of the tariffs, right? Because we all know when tariffs were introduced, prices of goods and services went up, right? So before the tariffs came into play, there was a whole lot of exports to the US from Canada, and that led to, of course, the growth in GDP, right? So, with inventories and net exports mainly to the US, the main contributors after consumer spending stalled and business investment fell. So, these conflicting signals mean we have a split with the market favoring a no change outcome, while economists look for a 25 basis point cut, although several banks switched their call to no change after that GDP print. So, this GDP print, the 2.2%, is what led to guys thinking, okay, hey, we are not going to have rate cuts, right? So there'll be a pause, because we all know, once again, when an economy has grown, you'll expect inflation, prices of goods and services to go up. And that's where, like, if you continue cutting rates, then of course that means there'll be so much money in the economy and inflation will keep skyrocketing. And the work of the BOC in this case is to maintain inflation, to maintain inflation at 2% and below. So that is what we are expecting. On the flip side, Trump's Friday announcement to hike steel and aluminum tariffs from 25% to 50% throws a wrench in the works, escalating trade tensions with Canada, which is the largest exporter of those metals to the US. Once again, the uncertainty play, right? So we'll want to hear when the governor is having this discussion. We'll want to hear what his outlook is, and especially during the press conference, right? Let me share this. During the BOC press conference at 5:30, expect some volatility. Why? Because here you have the written statement where the governor will spell out why they came up with that decision and all that, and then he'll now open the floor to questions from the investors and even reporters. That's why you'll see some volatility based on the tone. So if he's dovish, then of course you'll expect the weakening of the Canadian dollar. If he's hawkish, that means he expects maybe an increase in interest rates, or a pause for maybe a considerable amount of time. Then there could be some uh, uh, hawkish. The Canadian dollar here would strengthen. So that is what we expect on CAD and the Canadian economy. At 5, we'll have ASM services PMI. Basically, this is important because of the health of economy, right? It's a survey of about 300 purchasing managers, which asks respondents to rate the relative level of business conditions, including employment, production, new orders, prices, supplier deliveries, and inventory. So in this case, here you need to basically the survey helps us understand how healthy the US economy is based on these guys who are in the business, right? So the forecast is that it will be 52%. Anything above 50 is good. Previous number 51.6. So if this number comes out higher than the 52, maybe 53, then that's good for the dollar. We should expect the strengthening of the dollar. However, if it comes out lower than this, maybe 50, right, that will be a shocker because it's way lower than the previous number. So that will lead to the weakening of the US dollar. So those are the high impact news we anticipate, and they'll be playing out during New York session. So be on the lookout, especially during that time, for market moves, opportunities. So let's go to uh, our MT5 and analyze technically, right? We remember your work as a techie is to map out areas, because these areas will be tested during those fundamental news, during those news impacts, right? Price will always come to these areas. A good trader is one who trades based on confirmations, right? So let's have a look at the possible moves. So we have Euro USD. What are we expecting moving forward? So let's remove these analyses. Go to higher time frames. Okay, so if we go to H4, or H1, right? We could see some possible bearish move on this asset. So I would probably want to see Euro USD test this area. It will be interesting for us to see this move. This is an order block on lower time frames on M15. Maybe if Euro USD was to come up there, it will give us a good trade with confirmations, of course, right? And maybe the take profit will be a moving average. So remember, we said that for those who've been attending our beginners classes and our mentorship classes, beginners classes every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 p.m., right? And then the advanced classes, 11 to 12. As we speak, there's a class that is ongoing, a mentorship class, right? So if you're struggling with strategy, discipline, trading psychology, you might want to join those classes and hear from our team of experts. So I would want to see maybe Euro USD test that area before selling, right? This is what I would want to see. So that's a 46 pips move on Euro USD. Yeah, so that's what I would want to see on this particular asset. Then we have GBP USD. It's yet to get here from yesterday's analysis in our mentorship class. So let's see. It dropped how many pips? 30. Remember, anyone who's been attending the mentorship class, I don't know whether we have some of us here. Remember what I've been saying. Never allow a trade to go past 30 pips without booking some pips, right? You know, it's always good to reward yourself, right? So let's see what the possible moves will be like. That's a possible area on GU, or even that high, Monday's high, the weekly high, is an area where we would look for opportunities to sell. So those are the two areas I've mapped as possible resistance. And then yesterday's low could act as our exit. So if I were to look for opportunities on GU, I would want to see GU test this high, the weekly high, before selling. So I would want to see a bullish move. So once price gets here, remember, a good trader is one who trades based on confirmations. You don't just take a trade, you make sure that you've sought confirmations. Which are these confirmations? Those in the mentorship class, we already know the confirmations, right? You need to look at the RSI. Is it at the 70 region, right? One, is it here? Two, can you see bearish engulfing, right? Can you see an evening star? Can you see a shooting star? Can you see bearish tweezers, right? So those are some of the things that you need to look at before taking that sell if price gets there. Once again, this is purely educational analysis. It's based on what we normally learn. The other asset is USD JPY. So yesterday we were looking for a bullish USD JPY that played out and went way above our expectations, right? Because our target was here, and as we can see, price went all the way, right? Almost 100 pips from our take profit. So let's remove this analysis and map out USD CHF, sorry, USD JPY afresh. So I'm going to look at that moving average as a possible take profit and resistance level 145.28. And then looking at this one, there's a candle I want to see tested here, 144.74. This is your work as a trader to map out these areas and wait for price to get there. And if they're in line with your plan, then of course you enter. So maybe I would want to see USD JPY come down to test the Asian low. The Asian low refers to the lowest price during Asian session. Once again, those in the mentorship class, they already know of this area, that it's an area with some buyers, right? So I would want to see USD JPY get there. And maybe when it gets there, we could see some bullish push to one. There's that moving average, could act as a take profit area. And then maybe a continuation to 144.74, maybe a further bullish move to 145.28. So these are uh, possible areas where USD JPY could go to. So remember, a lot of volatility will be coming in during New York session, and we could see such moves play out. We could, right? Remember, nothing stops this market from nosediving, right? So this is just a technical analysis. If those trades do not, if they breach this area, then this analysis becomes invalidated, right? So you sit on your hands. You see, don't just take trades because you've made an analysis. Take trades once they fulfill your trading plan, and your trading plan needs to include confirmations. Okay, NZD USD, we were looking for sell opportunities. Price didn't get there. So let's map out this afresh. Yeah, so that is an area I'm looking at, and then this order block here as a possible take profit area. This bullish order block, remember you can use order blocks as take profit targets, apart from entry. So this move is something I would anticipate to see how price reacts to this high. And then maybe we can look for sell opportunities, 52 pips. But remember, we can also book a profit on the moving average. Okay, that's on NZD USD. Let's go to gold. We had anticipated gold to hit this area before selling, right? And remember, look at our one of our areas where we were looking at exiting became an area of support, right? So these are areas where your take profit could be another person's entry, right? So let's remove this analysis on gold and see what could play out. So that area was tested yesterday, right? Which led to that bearish move. It's not yesterday, today actually. So what would I want to see? Just like the other pairs, I would probably want to see a bullish move on gold. And once price gets there, then I'll probably want to see some bears stepping in to yesterday's low. Yesterday's low is an area of support, but can also act as a take profit area. The other area could be the moving average. Once again, you can use moving averages to book your profits. There's also a candle here. Maybe you can also, gold is quite volatile. You can easily get to that 293. Yeah. So maybe that move or even another take profit could be on that move, moving average, and then that. Audi USD. Let's map out this candle. Go to lower time frames. We'll want to see how Audi USD reacts to this high. So once again, those who use this strategy will learn this strategy for a beginners class today, right? The EMAs. You can see how price has been held on the 800 moving average. Yesterday, today, that means there's some buyers on this 800 moving average. So let's go to where would you want to exit this trade? That's an order block. This is a bullish order block. That will be a possible take profit area. So I would want to see a bullish move to there. Nothing stops Audi USD from going to yesterday's high, which is also the weekly high, the high of Monday, right? Nothing stops Audi USD from getting there. And then from there, maybe we get to see some bearish move. This could go all the way to the moving average. So there's also that possibility. Now with the news coming in, this area can be breached. There could be a spike, right? A week all the way to this area, and then sellers push the market down. Once again, confirmations. What about USD CAD? We've seen a lot of USD CAD news coming in. Our USD CAD tested last week's low. As we can see, after hitting last week's low, there was a bullish move of around 60 pips. For those in the mentorship class, we all know that last week's low is an area of support, right? That's why you can look for buy opportunities. Clearly, we can see that played out, right? So let's go to higher time frames. I'm still looking at a bearish USD CAD, right? Still looking at a bearish USD CAD. So that would mean we expect the Canadian dollar to strengthen during all that news, right? If you look at it from the technical angle, we could see a very strong Canadian dollar. But then again, as traders, we need to be wary that that could be invalidated easily. We have an order block here. You see this bullish order block? The last bearish candle before a move up that broke all this structure, right? The market was ranging here. So this is the last bearish candle that led to a break of this area, right? This higher high was broken to form the next higher high. That could be a possible area where USD CAD could come, 35.47, right? Long term. Yeah, so those are areas that we could see USD CAD come to. So in the meantime, let's look at it from an intraday play. What are we expecting? So go to H4, trying to seek opportunities. Okay, so USD CAD seems like we're still looking at that bearish move, but we could see it test yesterday's high, maybe during the news, right? We could see it test that yesterday's high. There's also an order block here, this candle, a bearish order block, which is the last bullish candle before a move that broke this structure, right? So 37.47, 37.42, those are two areas I would be interested to see being tested before a bearish move. Remember, we still have 36.20, a moving average, and also an order block down here. So that's USD CAD. Let's look at Nasdaq UT100. This will be the final trade. Maybe we should see Nasdaq come to last week's high. This last week's high is an area where we should probably see Nasdaq get to. So the Asian low is an area where I would want to see. So I'm still bullish on Nasdaq. So I can only take a bullish move at this price level to that high. That's my outlook on UT 100. Let's have a look at your comments. Hey Boniface, yeah, Hi from KC, awesome man. I'm a swing trader. How can I use your insights? I like entering my trades on 1 hour order blocks. Exactly, you've seen me mapping trades even on 1 hour order blocks, right? So you just need to make sure that you have confirmations, right? Our confirmations are more on lower time frames, right? We need to go to M5, M15, seek the confirmations, and then enter. GJ yesterday 2 p.m. They did that thing as per the analysis we did. Wow, great. Hey Robert, which moving average do you use? I use the 50 EMA, the 200, and the 800. Well, 3 years now in trading started becoming much thanks to you because you taught me back working as I'm Wednesday and also long. Okay, awesome. Awesome, Jesus favorite. Awesome, man. So, well, Euro USD does dollar seem to strengthen further? Uh, you can't really tell, but looking at where we are at, we really need to see that bullish move on USD. We need to see that bullish move on USD. That could play out later, or even as we move into New York, right? We could see a bullish dollar. So for now, we are looking at that move. Euro USD is headed to our area. Let's see how it reacts once it gets here, right? GBP USD, we have to target two areas. USD JPY, we want to see a bearish move, right, to this price level, and then maybe we could see a bullish one. And then NZD USD, we want to see that bullish move to that area, and then maybe sellers can step in. A gold, we want to see a bullish move to the Asian high, right, and maybe we could see some sellers stepping in. AUD USD, a bullish move to this area or this area, and then a bearish move. USD CAD, we might want to see price test that high before dropping. Those two possible areas. Then UT100, we are so bullish. Once again, this is purely educational analysis, right? This is based on the strategy that we learn. Okay, no further questions. Thank you guys for your time. For more, kindly visit under this video. You can check out our resources, Facebook, TikTok. But then if you're interested in joining, the beginners class, go to that link Monday to Thursday, the evening class, right? That's the beginners class. For those who want to join the mentorship class, where like you have a strategy, or maybe you want to refine your strategy, or you're fearful, you're indisciplined, you're greedy, those emotions, you might want to join the Monday to Thursday morning class, right, from 11 to 12 p.m. That's where we get to discuss as intermediate and experienced traders. Yeah, that's it, guys. Cheers. Have a good one. Be fruitful. But then again, remember, volatility comes with opportunities, but make sure that you're using those opportunities well, right? Risk management is very important. Otherwise, bye bye.